Hi, my name's Robin Harris, and I'm telling my quilt story at the Quilts of Valor 20th Anniversary Conference in Paducah, Kentucky. Today is Thursday, September 24th in 2023. My 3 minutes is going to have 4 parts. First part's the intro, then the second part is the process of how this quilt happened, and then the third part is what's my takeaway. So first of all, I'm a 5th generation fiber artist, and they probably go back further, but we've been quilting in our family for many generations. I started quilting in 1980s. That's before rotary cutters, before special rulers, but now I like it much better now. And my favorite piecing machine is a Singer 1950 201-2, which was my mother's sewing machine, which passed on to me. My favorite quilting machine, I'm a sitting quilter, is a Bernina Q20, which I need a whole lot more practice with, but I love it. My favorite thing about quilting is getting new tools and processes, and I do that by taking classes, and then by teaching classes, and then I take my money I earn from teaching classes and buy new tools. To me, quilting's a process and a puzzle, and when you're all finished, you learn things and you have things to share. And what I love now that I'm older is that I'm able to quilt because I love it, not out of necessity, which I have made my living with my sewing in the past times. So let me have you look at and enjoy my designed anniversary quilt. And the process of how this started is it started with an idea and a dream, and we're having our 20th year anniversary of the Quilts of Valor, and I said, well, I love to design and I love the annual national block drives. So I said, I want to go back and see if I can find 20 or more blocks, knowing this has only been in process for 10 years. So I had to find the blocks. I found some of the makers of the blocks and picked them out. So that was my dream, and I said, well, I want to use a panel. And I said, well, I want to put a panel in the center so I can get you focused just on the land of the free. And that was my dream. But then to make that reality, you know, you can say that, I have this idea in about 2 seconds, but to make the dream a reality sometimes takes a little bit longer. Not quite as long as 20 years, as Catherine Roberts had, but our reality was first I had to resize these. Some of them were 12.5 inches, so that was the resizing, and there's a lot of scraps over there from that. I had to lay out the patterns, and I use the electric quilter machine. I'm number 8, and that quilt computer design allowed me to lay this out, put my panel in, and sometimes you still have to wiggle these measurements when you get cut, so you never know for sure how the sashing is going to be and how it's going to change. So I changed the patterns out, I drew out a panel, I constructed blocks, put the blocks down on the floor at one of our quilt meetings, and all the gals said, well, I like these over here and I like these over here, and I took pictures of them all, and when I got it home I laid it out. My husband moved it once more, and this is the block layout. These are not like 2013, 2014. You'd have to have a little key, which I'll make up to go with it, of which years. But I do know that I joined Quilts of Valor with this block. This is my first block in 2018. So I constructed them. The next part then is the layering, the choosing the threads, choosing the patterns that I'm going to quilt it with. And this is very, a little bit of a mixture, because I free motioned the eagle, so that's kind of thread painted, and then the waves in there, and then outlined the blocks. But if you look close inside each block, you'll see a star. Some have a star within a star. And that's how we did with the quilting. And then when I was starting to get it together, doing the blocking and getting ready to wash it to make sure my red didn't bleed, I said, who am I going to give this to? Who can we award this to that would be someone that would be special? And that's where I started negotiating with Tammy. And we were able to, her finally yesterday, to say yes, that we would be able to award her a quilt. So what gets written in my journal? And my quilting journal, or just my thing, is that the issues that are confronted as the process is made, and my biggest issue is centering the panel, and then doing the math again and again, is this going to fit? And I have 3 sets of sashing cut, 2 sets will go in another quilt. They're different widths. The takeaway for me that I also wrote down is that I always love that my patience is getting better. I used to want to anticipate, which meant I didn't spend the time using my sewing skills, and so my corners didn't match, and all the corners match finally. And the teamwork with my group, not only in helping the layouts, but encouraging and saying, well, what did you do for this, or how did you figure this out? And we have a lot of us chat a lot around our sewing, so we have that. The joy, the pride, the anticipation of another award presentation, and what I want to say is now I am a part of Quilts of Valor history.